Alright guys, I got another movie review here for you because I went and saw 28 Years Later the other day, and I've got some things to say. And full disclosure before we get into the video here, this will be a spoiler video, so if you have not seen it, go ahead and go watch it first if you want to, before watching this review. If you don't want to be spoiled, but that's what I'm going to say. So 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. So first of all, I'm just going to start the video by saying that I absolutely hated this movie. I'm definitely contrarian to a lot of the opinions online, I guess you could say. A lot of movies in Hollywood now piss me off. In fact, I'm going to title this new movie review series that I do for videos, or for movies that I just really hate. I'm going to title these The End of Hollywood, because the more movies I see, the more it just sinks in that Hollywood is dead and it's just over. It's done and dusted. It can't escape the liberal framework. Every single movie has to have the liberal framework, and there's no deviation, right? Hollywood is like too set in its ways, and it's very apparent now. So yeah, 28 years later. So if you guys don't know, I don't think I've talked about movies as much in the past. I might start making this more of a regular thing, but if you guys didn't know, I'm a pretty big horror movie fan, and I actually consider 28 Days Later, the original movie, one of the best zombie movies ever made. It's up there for me. It's not the best. I think like Night of the Living Dead and stuff like that, like Dawn of the Dead, I think those are superior movies. But 28 Days Later was a very good movie when I saw it. I remember I was very young when I went and saw it in the theater. For one, the first movie, it was filmed on a phone, which I guess this movie is too, but it's like a smartphone. And that was like part of its charm, is that if you guys watch the original 28 Days Later, you think that you like pirated the movie, because it just has this really grimy, just like ugly look to it. But that was all by design. They wanted the movie to feel almost like a found footage film. And then one thing that I've always liked about 28 Days Later compared to other zombie franchises is that they're not really zombies. They call it the rage virus. And I think The Last of Us like literally ripped this off. The Last of Us is trash in many ways, but their whole like everyone turns into mushroom people, like 28 Days Later did this first. And the concept is you're not a zombie, which means you don't become undead. You become mindless, kind of, and you become kind of a, like you don't have all your faculties, you could say. The real original thing that probably did this was I Am Legend, because I Am Legend is actually a book that the movie was based on. But in that story, they were vampires. So 28 Days Later in many ways is the first zombie franchise to do this sort of thing. And essentially what it is the people get rage rabies. That's what I've always called it. And they really show in the first movie that like if this blood even comes anywhere near you, you're done. Like it's instant. Like you get hit with it, you vomit blood, and then you're a rage zombie. It's over. And yeah, I always thought that was kind of cool. And then they made a sequel called 28 Weeks Later. It was a pretty cool movie as well, but you could tell that the studios got a little bit more hold of it. It was less inspired. Less. The scope was a lot smaller. It was kind of more about London being locked down by the U.S. government, and they were getting control of the zombies, and then this guy, like, it has dumb decisions. Like every horror movie, people make horrible decisions. That's like the only way the movies can happen in many ways. But his wife is infected and he decides to kiss her, and the guy basically like ruins the whole freaking city. So 28 Weeks Later is a cool movie. It's just like a much different, more like self-contained movie. And so yeah, to get into 28 Years Later, so the hype for this for me was real. I was hyped for it, but This is why I'm calling this series The End of Hollywood, because I've been hyped for movies for like 4 years now. I was hyped for Gladiator 2 last year. I was hyped for Alien Romulus. And maybe I'll make separate reviews for those movies if you guys like these videos, to kind of give a break from the whole political, philosophical analysis that I do. I love movies still, and I'd happily do these, but lately the movies are just like, they're just uninspired. I don't know how to explain it. It could just be an age thing with me. Like, I'm a millennial, as you guys know. I've talked about it many times. I grew up in an age where, in the 2000s, I wouldn't say 90s and 2000s, I don't know if movies were absolutely great, but they had there was no wokeness. You could really just say it that way. There was no political correctness. And that's just ruined movies. And to get into 28 years later, to this movie's credit, one thing that I actually liked about the movie was that it was authentic to the UK setting. Because if you guys don't know, the whole franchise happens through like a British perspective. That was the whole point of 28 Days Later, is they wanted you to see like London empty, and I think at the very end of the movie they showed that it spread into the mainland and reached like France, and that the whole point was like a more European British perspective of like a zombie apocalypse. And one thing that I liked about 28 Years Later quite a bit compared to all of the modern movies is that there was no diversity. I can actually say I didn't really see any black people at all. Maybe there was like zombies, I don't know. I was kind of paying attention because like in this movie a lot of the zombies are like naked. They're running around, and like you see a lot of zombie penis. I'll just cut to the chase. A lot of zombie boobies and a lot of zombie penis. And there's even like a scene that I don't even want to talk about because it's not YouTube friendly. But if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, because it's that kind of scene. It's unavoidable. So this movie had a lot of that, but not a lot of diversity. It was very refreshing. They spoke in the British accent. Everyone was white. It felt authentic. So I will give it that. I was like, okay, finally. Like, even if I don't like the script, it's like you finally have given me a movie that at least feels authentic. Because like that's one of the things I've always said. Like, if you're gonna make something in a certain time period or a certain region, right? This is why like Assassin's Creed Shadows is so retarded, because it's like if you're gonna make a Japanese game, just set it in Japan. It's not hard. But no, you can't do that now. Now you gotta have diversity. You gotta have black Vikings, and so this movie didn't have that. That is the big positive that I'm going to give it. And then also the first 20 minutes of the movie was amazing. If you guys have seen the movie, you probably know what I'm talking about. Basically, if you've seen the trailer for this movie, everything you see that's awesome is in the trailer, and it all happens in like the first 20-30 minutes of the movie. So the movie starts out, and it's been 28 years later. I don't know if it's been 28 years later from the outbreak, or 28 years later from the 28 weeks later ending. They never really discuss that, but I'm just going to assume that it's 28 years later from the first outbreak. If you guys have seen the movie, these terrorist people try to steal these monkeys. That's how the virus starts. So I'm assuming this is 28 years later from that event. But the movie starts out, and it is a cool perspective. Again, this is all in the trailer. It's showing you, okay, like the zombies have run their course, people have learned to deal with it, right? It's been almost 3 decades. What happens to society after the zombie outbreak? How does it rebuild itself and deal with this while, maintaining some semblance of humanity, of normalcy, right? You could say. And this movie tackles that question in the first 20 minutes. Like I said, the first 20 minutes, absolutely fantastic. It's essentially a story about a father and his son. And what the movie kind of starts with is that they don't go too into detail, but what I'm assuming is this. So like when children reach a certain age, because they play on the medieval thing quite a bit. They play that poem. I always forget what what it is, but if you've seen the trailer, there's like that poem that plays. They play that during the movie, like they do like a medieval montage in the beginning, and it's kind of giving you the hint that like, okay, when children come of age, specifically young boys, they're expected to go into the mainland. And I didn't say what this, so like they're living on an island. What they've done is there's like the UK landmass, and there's like a little island that they kind of have bunkered in, and it's like this little village basically with walls. They have walls with like palisades and defensive weaponry and all sorts of things like that to repel the zombies if they get too close. And there's like this bridge they established. There's like this water bridge. It's not water, it's like a dirt bridge, but when the tide goes up and down, the bridge will get covered in water or it will get uncovered. And so there's like only certain times essentially when you can like enter the village or leave the village, is what they kind of hint at. And so that's the setup. So the setup is they have to go out, and Aaron Taylor Johnson, Kick-Ass. You guys know who the actor is. He's been in a lot more now, but I always think of him as Kick-Ass. That was like the first movie I ever saw him in. He's the dad, and then his son, I forget the actor's name. It's this new child actor. There's like a million of them a day now. But he did well. The child actor did very well in this movie, given what the movie is. So yeah, the first part of the movie, great. They go out. The father has to teach the son about the zombies. There's some awesome zombie scenes. There's this one scene where the zombie got like trapped in a rope trap, and it's like laying upside down with this bag on its head, and it's like freaking out, and the kid's like really scared, and the dad's like, no, I want you to look at it and you got to kill it. And he's like, the more you kill, the easier it gets. And so I was getting excited there. And then there's this scene, they have these like fat zombies now. They like crawl on the ground and they eat worms. And he did that too. He's like, you got to kill these zombies. You got to just, every zombie you kill, it gets easier. So I was thinking like, oh, this is great. They finally they're un-Hollywooding themselves, right? They're going to make a father and son movie. Like, this is going to be great. And I was really into it for like the first 20, because they do all this. They fight some zombies, and then they actually get attacked by like they call it the alpha male zombie, which is another cool concept that they don't really explore much after the first 20 minutes. But essentially what it is like the zombies have evolved a little bit, and some of them have become alpha. You could say like alpha males, right? Like they're the pack leaders. So you'll see like a group of like a dozen zombies, and then there's like one big huge one that is really hard to kill, and they make that very apparent in the movie, that they're very hard to kill. They explain it a way that like some people get the virus and it acts like steroids or something like that. So they're like juiced out on pre-workout all the time, something like that. And so they set all that up, and they have to like hide in this house because they got chased by zombies. And then there's this cool scene where, yeah, the alpha like gets a whiff of them, right? And so they have to like run back to the mainland and get across this bridge, right? Because the alpha's just waiting there. That was one thing that was kind of cool too, is like they had to hide in this house, but they could see the hill where they had to cross this hill to get back to the island. And the alpha was just like standing on the hill. He doesn't know where they're at this point, but he just like knows there's someone around. So they were really playing up this alpha thing, like some real horror elements, possibilities here. And it sounds like I'm like glazing the movie right now, but this is why it's such a crap movie, as you'll see, because they really set this up to be something special. And you know, you could say formulaic. That's what I've heard a lot of people like, oh, it's not formulaic. This is why it's great. I'm tired of the subversiveness. I want formulaic. That's why this movie pissed me off. So what happens is they get back to the island, right? And they get chased by this alpha. And when they get to the gate, the people won't let them in. They make them like look into their eyes so that they have to prove that they're not infected. But this alpha guy's like chasing them, and they have like these crows surrounding him. This is all the reason why this sounds so chaotic when I'm explaining it, is because all this stuff is presented and it's really never visited again. So I'm doing my best to like explain what happens in the first part of the movie, but basically after they get back to the island, they show that like they have to harpoon. They have like these harpoon defenses on the island. They shoot this zombie with like a bunch of arrows, and they have to harpoon it to actually kill it. So again, establishing that these alphas are like a big threat. But what happens is they get to the island, and the dad like celebrates their victory, right? That's something too. And the kid is like really bad at surviving, right? They kind of show that, like, the kid is really bad at surviving. The dad has to like bail him out a bunch during their island adventure, or sorry, their mainland adventure. And they establish that, but then the movie does the thing that always happens, where the next time the character is seen, he's like an expert. They did this notoriously with Star Wars, right? They call it the Mary Sue trope, where they're just good at everything all of a sudden. So the movie, it really felt like two scripts because of this. It felt like there was one person that wanted to make the father-son survival movie, but then there was another side that wanted to make the more like feminist, abstract, egalitarian movie. And that's what we're going to get into now. So they go back to the island, and there's something wrong with the mother. I didn't explain that in the beginning, but the mother, there's something wrong with her. Spoiler alert, they find out it's cancer later on. That's basically what the movie becomes after this. Is there's like this doctor on the mainland. They see these like fires. The trailers are completely misleading. So the trailers make you think there's going to be some kind of like zombie cult on the island, and they have like bones that they worship. It's not at all. What it is there's this stupid doctor played by the, I think his name is Ralph Fiennes. I always forget his name. It's the guy that played Voldemort in the Harry Potter movies. He's on the island, and he used to be a doctor. And this felt like propaganda, I'm going to be honest. They made the doctor like the most sensible, sane guy ever. This feels like damage control to me for what happened during COVID. I see all these things in movies now where they try to, when they're trying to push agendas, they will do this. In fact, something, complete side note, but they were saying that the recent missile strike on Iran that Trump did was the exact same scenario that they did in the second Top Gun movie. You guys can look into that. So, predictive programming, that is what movies are. So it just, like, things like that hint at it. So what this movie is doing is it's trying to make doctors look good, right? The doctor doesn't believe in God or anything. I always talk about that in movies. There's never any God. It's all just like nihilistic, objectivist materialism, right? There is no objective standard. It's just liberalism. I don't know how else to explain it. And so they try to have these like emotional moments that they don't land. If you don't, this is just me. I've said I come at it from a Christian perspective. They don't land if you don't believe in God, and this has always been one of Hollywood's huge problems, is that they are mostly Jewish, so they don't really want to go there, right? They'll avoid the God angle as much as possible. And so what the movie basically becomes, and I knew it was going to be this the moment this happened. It was literally like I'm watching the movie and I'm enjoying it, and then like this happens and I'm just like, oh shit, this movie's going to suck. It just kind of hit me. And I was like, oh gosh, they're going to do it, aren't they? So what happens is he gets home from the island. At the beginning of the movie too, they kind of show that the mother's delirious. She like swears at him, drops a bunch of F-bombs, and it kind of shows that the dad is like dealing with this like woman that's kind of like, she's got something wrong with her. But then what happens is they show him cheat on her. And that was the moment where I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going to do it. They're going to make the dad the bad guy. And that's literally what they did. Aaron Taylor Johnson is only in the movie for the very first 20 minutes. They go back to the island and he cheats on his wife, and the kid sees it because they're like at this pub drinking, like celebrating their victory. And so the kid sees him cheat, and then the kid is like he's like a son husband. I don't know how else to explain it. If you guys don't know what that is, read about like the son husband phenomenon that happens in the real world. But yeah, this essentially is it's the feminist single mother talking point is what they go with. Because keep in mind, they didn't have to write it this way. This is what I try to explain to people about movies. The writers deliberately choose to write it the way they want to write it. So what they could have done instead is they could have made this more of like a family movie. They could have made the movie where it's like, okay, the mother is sick and the father and the son and the mother have to go to this doctor together. But no, what they do instead is the dad's a piece of shit. He cheated on his wife. So now we're just going to, toxic masculinity. That was what I got from it. Oh, look how bad. And then he like punches the wall because the son like tells his dad, like, you're not needed anymore. It's like one of the stupidest scenes ever. Again, this is when I just started getting pissed. There was a moment in this movie where I was loving it, and then I just immediately got pissed. Because they did it again, guys. They did it again. They got me all excited. This is like Alien Romulus last year. I got so excited, and then I saw the movie and was like, that was a giant piece of shit. And so, yeah, so the dad is out of the movie, right? He's literally just out. Because what happens now is the kid takes the mother. Again, the kid's only been on the island once. They established that. The mainland, I mean. He went to the mainland once with his dad. And he was really bad. The kid almost died like 3 times. He hit one zombie in the knee, and he hit one of the fat ones in the neck. So he really has like no kills, because the fat ones are like so easy to kill. They just crawl around. And so they've established that. So they established the kid is like, okay, the kid's a novice. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing yet. And so what does he do now? He takes his mother, who has cancer. She's like delirious in the whole movie. She's literally like, I was saying it, she's like retarded. She's like a retarded character, because she's like, half the movie she's just kind of like, and like, then there's like scenes where she doesn't move, like she can't move. Like there's a scene later where like this soldier guy shows up and he has to like carry her. So she's like useless. So really what's happening is this kid is going out there. He couldn't survive with his dad, who's like a seasoned zombie hunter, right? And we're expected to believe now that this kid is going to take his cancer-ridden mother out into the zombie wilderness on his own. Like, he learned about zombies like 5 minutes ago, right? He learned about what they really are 5 minutes ago. And he's going to take them out. He's going to take his mother out, and he's going to journey inland to the fires where the doctor's at, through the hordes of zombies. And yeah, it's about as lame as you'd think, guys. From there on, it's basically just plot armor. I don't even know how to get into it. There's that scene I told you about. It involves a pregnant zombie. That's all I'm going to tell you. Really gross scene. The alpha shows up again, but wasted. This soldier guy shows up that I told you about. Wasted. The movie just becomes like a melodrama. I don't know how to explain. It's just a lot of talking. Barely any zombies. There's like one scene where they're sleeping at this camp, and one of the fat zombies like almost bites the kid, but then they show the mother like goes crazy. They have like a girl boss moment for her. It's literally one moment in the whole movie. She has like this girl boss where she's like brutally kills this fat zombie, pretty brutally, and the kid doesn't know about it because he's asleep. So there's that scene. Then they get to the doctor. Like, I'm just going to fast forward ahead because there's literally like nothing that happens. It's so boring after the first 20 minutes. It's just this kid in the wilderness with his retarded mother, and then this soldier guy shows up. Spoiler alert, he gets killed very quickly by an alpha, so he's like out of the movie as well. He's in the movie for like 10 minutes total. There's like one funny dialogue scene where they're like camping out that they have together, but he's dead. Then this alpha shows up and he almost kills them all. And then the doctor shows up, and he's covered himself in like, it's like iodine or something. I can't remember what they said, but the doctor's found a way basically to like hide from the zombies by covering himself in this like stuff. And so he shows up, and like I said, he's all sane. He's like really cordial and polite, and he like examines the mother. He's like, your mother has cancer. I'm sorry, lad. I don't even know if I'm doing his accent right. I don't even know if he has one, but that's how they do the doctor. Like, he's very like calm and collected, and I'm sorry, Sonia. There's nothing I can do. She's got cancer. And then they just have this really long, just drawn out death of the mother. She hugs the son, and again, like, all of this would have worked if they would have developed it more and not removed the father. Like I said, that is a decision that they did. Why the hell would you establish the father and the son in the beginning of the movie if you were going to pull the feminist bullshit and just make him the bad guy, right? He literally is toxic masculinity. That's what Aaron Johnson Taylor plays in this movie. He plays toxic masculinity. And they even make it apparent at the end of the movie when I get to there. Because apparently there's going to be 3 of these movies. That's what I just learned. They're actually going to they've already filmed 2 back-to-back. And they're going to try to do a 3rd one. But this first movie was so bad. But maybe they'll do it because for some reason it seems like people love this stupid movie. So it gets to the end. His mom has cancer. And that's basically it. That's the movie, guys. They introduce the skulls that they show in the trailer. But all that is the doctor has been burning bodies over the long years. And he collects the skulls. Again, this is very like satanic in my opinion. They make like a big deal of how honorable this is. And like, oh, he's honoring the dead. But this is very like paganistic, Talmudic to me. Like he's making like mountains of skulls of people that have died. And there's like this, they tried to put this like spirituality, like sacredness to it. But like I said, it just doesn't land. I don't know what the hell they're going for. This is where Hollywood is. They have nothing. They have no objective morality anymore. So the movie basically is a bunch of swinging zombie dicks, cancer mom, and then the kid becomes like a pro at surviving. So the movie ends with the mom dies, right? Because she has cancer. So the doctor like puts her out of her misery. They don't really show what happens. He has this like blow dart gun. I forgot to say that. He can like tranquilize the zombies basically. He tranquilizes the alpha that's like chasing them, that kills the soldier guy. So he tranquilizes the mom, I guess. They don't show, they showed off screen, but I guess he tranquilizes her and it, kind of like euthanizes her, and then he puts the bodies in like this furnace, and then he salvages the skull. And again, I don't understand the point of any of this. Like I really was like, what is this adding to the movie? Like you could have had zombie cultists. You could have done some cool stuff. Like even if they would have got this doctor to be like the villain, I was thinking about that. I was like, what if they go to the doctor and he actually is evil? That would have been the perfect way to like end this first movie if they're going to do a trilogy. And then the dad has to come in and like save them or something, right? Then they could like reintroduce the dad, and they could even have like a family salvage, right? Like the family forgiveness type stuff. I can write movies like this in my sleep, but they don't do that. They go with the liberalism, and then the movie ends. Quite literally, the kid is now on his own. The mother's dead. He writes this letter to his dad, and then the dad's all pissed. They literally end the movie with the dad like holding the letter in the water, like, because he can't leave because the water went over the bridge that I told you about. And they just have him like, like, I'm betrayed, and just again doing the whole toxic masculinity thing. Remember, they chose to write him this way. I still like the dad too. The dad was still the best character in the whole movie, even though they tried to make me hate him. And so now the kid's on his own. The mother's dead, and he's sitting at this little fire that he made. And the movie ends with these zombies showing up and the kid running away. And I forgot to mention, the very beginning of the movie starts with this like Teletubbies thing, and it's supposedly set right when the outbreak is happening, or maybe during 28 weeks later. They don't really ever make it clear, but it's like this little village in the UK that's finally getting overrun by zombies. And so this kid survives, basically. They show the whole village gets wiped out, they all puking the blood and becoming zombies, and this like one kid survives. The reason I'm saying that is because at the very end of this movie, the son gets overwhelmed by these zombies, and I don't know how to explain it. If you guys have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. These like Power Ranger wannabes show up. That's the only way. This is Danny Boyle that directed the movie, so it's like if you guys have seen Train Spotting, it's like he put Train Spotting characters in the end of the movie, and I guess these are the characters we're gonna follow in the sequel. But they show up and they're like wearing hockey pads and like Power Rangers colors. Like, I'm not kidding when I say Power Rangers. They're each wearing colors. Like, one of them's wearing yellow, one of them's wearing red, one of them's wearing green. Like, they literally are the Power Rangers. And they do all these like tricks and they kill the zombies for the kid. And it's like this stupid scene where they play this like music and it's like supposed to be funny and it wasn't. I think even people that liked this movie criticized this ending because it really was stupid. And then when you think about it deeper, the implications of like, we're going to have to follow these characters in the next movie. So that's how the movie ends. And then it just ends. It has like one of those Matrix 2 endings. Like it just ends. They show up and they fight some zombies and it's over. That's the end of this first part, right? Of the 28 years later trilogy that's supposedly coming out. And apparently Cillian Murphy's going to be in the next movie. I'm assuming he's like the leader of this gang or something, but I don't know, guys. I hated this movie. We're 30 minutes in now. I've basically summed it up. The majority of this video or this review was telling you how great the first 20 minutes are and how they just completely ruined all of that because of current trends. They always have to do it. They always have to make the man a piece of shit. They can't just have an intact family. That's what really kills me too. Like, this is a zombie apocalypse setting. You're now living in a small, British type village where the communities are really tight knit, right? All white people, like I said, they were actually authentic to that. This is like the one time where you wouldn't have families broken. You would actually have a community. And that's an aspect that they don't even go through. They don't even explore that at all. This island that they've been living on together for 28 years. I don't know how long. At least 2 decades. Like, that's pretty implied because this kid was born after the zombies were a thing. So this kid doesn't know a world without zombies. All of this they could have explored. They didn't do it. Instead, they made it about this mother that has cancer and she's literally retarded most of the movie. And then the kid brings her to the doctor and she dies. And then the kid's like, I'm not going back. I'm just going to stay out in the mainland and be like Mad Max or something. And so I don't know, guys. That pissed me off. The dad is still alive. Maybe the dad will show up in the second movie, but what they're establishing to me is that the dad is bad. He's going to be the villain. The kid might kill him. I don't know what'll happen. The kid's probably going to join this stupid Power Rangers gang. And I don't know. I'm just not excited for the sequel at all. This movie sucked. All the hype ruined. I told my dad after the movie, I give it like a 2 out of 10. Literally only because of the first 20 minutes. I give 1 point per 10 minutes of enjoyment. And that's all it was. Because the moment the dad cheats on his, well, he actually does cheat on his wife, but they wrote him that way. So the moment that they decided to write the dad out of the movie was the moment the movie ended. And it's a damn shame. If you guys have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. The trailer made you think that this was going to be a really tight-knit survival zombie horror movie. It's not that at all. It is a first 20 minutes zombie survival movie, and then it becomes a abstract, nihilistic, materialism, almost atheistic, like I said, paganistic melodrama. It's the only way I can explain it. Feminism as well, feminist, just absolute, like I said, just abstract nonsense. It becomes modern art. It just becomes modern art, forgettable trash. So anyway, guys, that's the video. I'm done rambling. 28 years later sucked. But I'd be curious to see what you guys think about it down below. So if you guys are new to the channel, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you on the next one.